Hello and welcome back to another on Respect and to another edition of Raw Out of 10. And of course it is a big episode of Raw on Netflix today because it is the last show before Crown Jewel in Australia this weekend. So yeah, we've got a lot of stuff on the card, including Roman Reigns and CM Punk, and yeah, a potentially interesting match between Maxxine Dupri and Becky Lynch. And we kick things off with Roman Reigns a week after gaining the measure of the two bronze, following the historic clash in Paris at Left and Sidelines. Reigns opened the show with a promo. Before he could address his return, Reed interrupted with Paul Heyman, the former wise man, but over the beating the Aussie that gave Reigns in Paris. The OTT shock of every attempt by the heels to rattle him, including Reed inciting his father's name, didn't hesitate to accept a street fight. This babyface laid out Reed with a pair of Superman punches to close the segment, and yeah, an intriguing match set up. Before we then moved on to Maxxine Dupri versus Becky Lynch, of course, the result of a confrontation where Lynch got physical last week. The man dominated the action early, outclassing the babyfaces. She controlled the bout through the break before Dupri found a different gear and fought her way back into it. She delivered a fisherman's suplex and slipped out of Lynch's grasp and applied an ankle lock to her former mentor Chad Gable. Becky Lynch narrowly kicked out the near fall and delivered a suplex. Dupri continued to fight, countering her and revising the man's best stuff and nearly upsetting her on more than one occasion. Frustration built and Lynch took the underdog to the floor, slamming her into the steps and hitting her in the ribs with a giant prime bottle at ringside. Arrogance proved costly as Lynch taunted the audience and Dupri returned to the ring in time to win the match via count out. I mean, it's quite entertaining all the way through. Big win through Dupri, no matter how fortuitous it was, but even before that, it's still a really good performance and one that I think could benefit her. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. We then got Lyra Valkyria versus Roxanne Perez. A week after coming to Ada Bailey amid a 2-on-1 beatdown at the hands of the Judgment Day, Valkyria rekindled her rivalry with former NXT foe Perez. Perez's targeted left arm of her opponent, working it over the break. Even as the babyface managed to fight from underneath, she was unable to fully execute her moveset thanks to the damage inflicted to her arm. With a little moral support from Bailey at ringside, Lyra came mounted the comeback and the distraction that Rodriguez's big boot to the role model on the floor brought allowed Perez to recover and deliver pop rocks for the win. Afterwards, an irate Bailey grabbed hold of Valkyria and told her the unfinished business, which yeah, I'm intrigued to see. 6 out of 10. As Punk then wasted little time turning his attention to Rollins and the World Heavyweight Championship, vowing to earn his title back. LA Knight interrupted, still not abandoning his pursuit of the world title. He applauded Punk on cultivating love, but claimed he has been more focused on being a husband and winning against Rollins. The megastar told Punk that he never has lost to Rollins, and the best in the world responded by reminding him that he has never been world champion either. Jey Uso interrupted, heeding his cousin's advice from earlier in the show, and came face to face with the old protective number one contenders. Hay threw down his claim to win the world title. Uso hit the ring, allowing Jey to rock Knight with a super kick. After a few more words from Punk announcing the former world champion's new attitude, the straight edge superstar took Jey down, earning him a super kick from Jimmy to close the segment. Lots of moving parts here, but I think it's intriguing how the baby faces are all kind of interconnected in this way. So yeah, good stuff. Io Sky then attacked Asuka before her match with Kairi Sane, wiping out the Empress of Tomorrow at ringside and seeking to avenge the weeks of torment she's been put through at the hands of her former Damage Control teammates. She further unleashed her frustration, dominating Sane in the opening moments of the match and into the break. The Pirate Princess recovered and seized control of the match, which she had coming out of the timeout. It was not enough to halt Sky's momentum though, as the former world champion launched herself off the top with a massive drop kick. Sky rolled, but interference from Asuka allowed Sane to recover and score the win. Still reluctant, Sane delivered a vicious backfire and insane elbow to Sky, and to the light of Asuka, the Kabuki Warriors built momentum towards Crown Jewel. Yeah, continuing to build this story up. I think there could be a twist or two to come with it, but yeah, I'm liking what they're doing there. Gets a 6 out of 10 from me. Moments after the latest edition of the Road to Rollins video package series, a desperate world champion asked Paul Heyman what happens if he loses. Heyman conveniently left himself out the answer and originally called him out on it. The Oracle said at some point he would have to ask himself why he chose Rollins instead of Reigns. Speaking of the tribal chief, he surveyed the disagreement between the Usos, with the former taking exception to his brothers interrupting him during the promo segment earlier and accusing him of protecting Punk. Jey stormed off, leaving Reigns to warn Jimmy that when his brother won the world title, sometimes the best way to help him out is to get out of his way. Reigns' advice is his influence is clearly affecting Jey. AJ Styles, Dragon Lee and Penta then took on the Judgment Day. Born off a backstage segment, Styles, Penta and Lee squared off with Balor, Mysterio and McDonough in trios action. The heels seized control of the bout through the break, isolating Lee and working him over in their corner of the ring. They continued their dominance, teetering off on Penta when he enters the match. A late hot tag to Styles sparked a babyface comeback. At one point, Mysterio attempted a 619, but Rusev stomped to the ring, still looking to avenge his controversial loss to Dirty Dom on last week's show. Penta wiped him out, allowing Mysterio to escape. From there, the P1 took advantage of the distraction, caught McDonough and delivered the Stars Clash for the win. After the match, a fired up Stars told the world he and Cena do not need a story this Saturday at Crown Jewel. They had an epic rivalry and they're going to leave everything in the ring in Perth. Very much looking forward to it, but yeah, this gets a 5 out of 10. The product of the promo segment earlier, Punk and Knight battled the Usos in the main event. The Twins dominated the action, using years of experience to earn the upper hand and take the fight tonight. A hot tag to Punk brought him in and his partner back from the brink and put them in the driver's seat. Jay holds the momentum momentarily to deliver a spear to Punk. The best in the world recovered, though, and flattered him with a GTS. Instead of making a cover, Knight tagged himself in and stole the victory from his teammate, further strengthening his claim to the next title opportunity. Yeah, gets a 6 out of 10 for me. A pretty decent main event, and yeah, intriguing where we're going to go with this. And overall, Raw this week gets a 7 out of 10 for me. It was a slightly underwhelming episode of Raw. We got a nice angle from the Kabuki Warriors and the Io Sky. Obviously, Reigns v Reed. Intriguing stuff with Rollins and Reigns. But there was some bits that maybe I just felt weren't built up enough. Don't get me wrong, there's a good match on there. But yeah, for a pay-per-view main event, pre-show, I kind of hope for a bit more. That's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on our socials. Link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.